normally my vlogs, it takes kind of like an hour in production or so. And sometimes when I do the editing, it comes out like between like 25 minutes or more. Sometimes it gets longer, but mostly it's because I usually talk without a script, and when I want to express almost every single detail about this movie, it comes out like a little bit too much. So yeah, I'm a little bit aware about my legitimacy of the movies until I was thinking a little bit about it after I saw the movie that I saw today. Yeah, I saw two movies this week, which is none other than Free Guy, and the one that I'm going to talk about today, which is none other than Don't Breathe 2, which is the sequel of the movie of the same name that came out 5 years ago. And it got me thinking that, does this movie merit to be talked so much? Because honestly, it felt like it didn't need to do that. So after thinking about it, I decided that this is gonna be kind of like the perfect opportunity for me to try out kind of like a bite-sized version of my usual reviews. So because there's not exactly so much to talk about it, and so at this point, let me start out by saying that I did saw that movie 5 years ago in the movie theaters. The story about some burglars who break into the house of this blind old man, and which little that they know is that this man, despite being blind, he's a U.S. veteran that he has his other senses developed, and if he even hears you, even like a small peep of your nose or a noise, he's gonna break your neck. But basically, I want to say that the first movie, I like how it went. It was thrilling. You feel scared because Stephen Lang did a great job at this old man, that he even might be a little bit of a rival to these creatures from A Quiet Place. And but considering that you have to follow a group of unlikable characters, I was actually rooting for the villain on that movie until kind of like in the climax, where you notice that he did some shady things in which it kind of diminishes the kind of the likability of this old man. But still, I didn't like the ending, because basically our supposed hero, which I didn't like, comes out winning. So I hated that ending, because it's so much that I still kind of rooting for the Stephen Lang character at that point. But now I'm talking about that movie that I just went to see because of my curiosity, which the movie takes place eight years after the first movie, in which it is discovered that Stephen Lang's character adopted this little girl that was a survivor of a house fire. They still live in Detroit, which, man, that this city is unbelievably shady. Let's say it's a really bad neighborhood. But the point is that he lives with this girl that he adopts. He trains her, to survive. Yeah, but still he isolates her from other people because he feels that she's not ready. And you kind of believe that because she's living in Detroit. But anyway, this girl is targeted by a group of criminals who it is implied that they are what was it called, organ traffickers. And basically they're trying to kidnap her, but of course when the old man is there, and basically that's all you have to know about the story. Not much exactly to say about this one. The first half of the movie is kind of a little bit similar to the first one, until then the other one kind of turns into a revenge story. In which, well, let's say that this movie, I will say that it's a little bit of a downgrade compared to the other one in sense of thrills. because some of the thrills doesn't work. Sometimes it tries too hard. But for the benefit of the doubt, Stephen Lang still got it as the old man. He's still a good actor. Some of the other actors are a little bit goofy, a little bit over the top. The girl tries her best, but sometimes she acts a little bit too cutesy to be believable. But luckily she doesn't come out as annoying. Annoying. There is still moments of thrill, suspense, blood, and sometimes some kind of ridiculous moments. Probably some of them are some that top of my head. It's kind of like the moment in which, for example, we got that one of the criminals that Stephen Lang captures. He just technically glues his nostrils and the mouth, and then the other one comes to his aid, and instead of cutting the mouth open for breeze, he just punctures a hole on his cheeks, and I was like, what was that about? Another aspect is that there is kind of like a character that kind of has a 360 on his conscience, but almost for no reason. It was almost undeveloped. But also, I think I want to give this movie a little bit of the pat on the back, because for the most part, this movie, what it tries to do is to give redemption to the old man, which, personally, I find this a little bit gratifying, because I was rooting for the old man, even in the first movie shows of how much of a monster he is. This one shows his redemption arc. And he kind of is, because despite that, he kind of didn't deserve, especially considering that the protagonists of the other movie, they were so unlikable. But in this one, yeah, it turns him more into an anti-hero more more like a tragic hero. So yeah, it goes. So basically, the old man, he really is. Well, everyone is saying that he is basically Daredevil. Well, there is kind of like no comparison to this guy. But also I will say that, yeah, despite the things that he has done, his redemption arc comes up that, well, he's just pit with people that are basically worse than him in one way or another. Again, kind of like Detroit. And like I said, there's not exactly so much that I can talk about this movie kind of like in bigger detail. It was just kind of like, this movie happened and, well, that's it. It's just you just enjoy from what it is if you like the first movie, but for the others, sometimes you kind of get a little bit, well, very predictable or sometimes boring. I wasn't bored. I'm bored personally. It's just that I thought that it could have been a little bit better. I will say that the ending was a little bit better compared to the other one, but still I have some mixed feelings about it. So I give this just kind of like a mild, kind of like low recommendation. I only recommend it if you actually got invested on the first movie and you just want this out of continuity. It wasn't. It's still an unnecessary sequel, but at least it closed a cap at least on this and gives out some kind of redemption to the old man. And still, it's still worth it for Stephen Lang kicking ass. But that, honestly, that's all I have to say. You don't have to waste your breath on this film if you don't feel like it.